stage. I'm your host, Ed Nunez, along with our producer, Alden Iwani. Our very special guest today is Hobbs head football coach Ken Stevens. His Eagles quarter beat Carlsbad in a quarterfinal 30-19 last Saturday. And for the first time in 44 years, they'll advance to the semifinals where they will face the second-ranked Cleveland Storm at Lightning Bolt Stadium this Saturday at 1 p.m. Coach, welcome to the show.
Hey, thank you very much. Thanks for having me on the show. Privilege and honor to be here with you today.
You know, Coach, you mentioned Hobbs. We just talked. You've been there since 2019, and Hobbs is more well known for boys basketball, and Joe Carpenter has done a heck of a job with the girls program. Joe's a very good friend. I love Joe, and you know what? This is a big moment for the Eagles, man. You mentioned to me you were trying to get over that quarterfinal hump. You're here. Tell us about the game against Carlsbad on Saturday.
Hey, the game against Carlsbad, it was a repeat. We had played them the last district ball game of the year. I think we beat them 31-13, and then we earned a bye. We got that number 3 seed, and then Carlsbad went up to Rio Rancho, upset Rio Rancho as the 11th seed, and beat them pretty soundly. And so we drew them again in the quarterfinals, and so that was quite different, having to prep for a team that you had just played. And it was tricky. What do they change? What do they not change? They know we do this, that kind of stuff. And so difficult game to prep for. And Carlsbad came out, and very physical team, well-coached team. They've got that stud linebacker, McKibben, that's got dozen or so Division I offers. He's a tough kid to handle. And so that game started off very slow for us. Carlsbad jumped out 6-0 at the end of the first quarter. And then we were able to get some stuff going in the second and went into the halftime with a 17-6 lead. And really just kind of held on there in the second half. We never relinquished the lead, but they got within 4 points there, I think, in the fourth quarter. And then we scored there with about 2 minutes left in the game to kind of seal the deal and put it away. But it was a hard-fought, physical game, and a tough game. Like I said, Carlsbad and Hobbs over the last 15 years has became a really big rivalry game. The way the districts have been set up, usually that's the last game of the year, and whoever wins that game usually gets into the playoffs, and the other team doesn't. And so, traditionally it's been Hobbs-Clovis and Artesia Carlsbad, but I think the rivalry between us and Carlsbad has really grown over the last decade or so.
It just got a little bit bigger after, and sometimes those things happen. I think people were surprised that Carlsbad went up there and handled Rio Rancho the way they did, and they did. And Coach Sanders, does a great job out there. Centennial, who just lost on a last-second field goal to La Cueva in the quarterfinals on Saturday, beating them 44-33. Beating Clovis 51-29, beating Oregon Mountain 51-12, and 2 wins over Carlsbad 31-13 and 30-19. What's been the key to the turnaround? And you got to play all 3 sides, right? Offense, defense, special teams. What's been the motor here in the Eagles' 6-game win streak?
We've really we've played pretty well all year offensively, and with the exception of the Cruces High game. We didn't put very many points on the board. With the exception of that game, we played really well offensively all year. It's our defense has kind of grown up and has gotten better as the year progressed. They've played really well in the last few ball games and have grown up quite a bit. And the special teams has come around. We had some hiccups early in the year, special teams wise. That's one of the big things that cost us against Artesia. We had just scored to make it a ball game and kick off, and they returned it on us. And so, our special teams and our defense, I think, has improved greatly throughout the course of the year. And then our offense has held steady, and they're improving too. But like I said, we've played pretty well offensively throughout the year.
You've got we'll get to your offense and your defense a little bit later in the show. But, just so everybody knows, you got Junior Madrano, the quarterback. He's 133 of 233. He averages 152.4 yards per game, but has also rushed for 1,679 yards. So that's a weapon that you have there for sure on offense. That's one of a number of them. But you mentioned physicality, physical, and it'll be a challenge those games are won in the trenches. I think, and Cleveland has been a very physical football team. They had a hiccup, losing to Las Cruces. We've seen this happen with the Storm. They might lose the game, and then all of a sudden they've won 6 in a row, 42-17, 49-3, 27-6, 54-0, 49-13, 49-14, and then 42-0 over Volcano Vista. They beat them twice in that streak. Just talk a little bit about, and we'll get to more later, but talk a little bit about the physical challenge you face on both fronts.
Yeah, they're like I said, they're Cleveland for a reason. They're very well coached. There's not very many chinks in their armor, if any. The guys on their defense play great technique. They do what their coaches do. They play with great effort, and that's what makes them who they are. And then they've got excellent athletes, and when you put good coaching and top level athletes together, that's what you get. You get a program like Cleveland that's very difficult to beat, and like I said, they're very physical, both up front offensively and defensively, and that's the challenge. We feel we're pretty physical up front. We feel the strength of our team is our offense and defensive lines. We ran the ball very well this year, and that's going to be the challenge. Is can we continue to do those things against a team like Cleveland? Can we continue to run the football and do those things that have made us successful throughout the year on the road against a top tier team like Cleveland? And so that's what we're challenging our kids with this week is to go out there and be physical and to match their physicality. Our best game, obviously, we're going to have to match that physicality. And it's not going to be an easy task by any means.
You got two great semifinals in 5A. You've got Hobbs versus Cleveland, and then La Cueva will take on Las Cruces, undefeated Las Cruces. Today, Coach Lopez has done. I had him on earlier in the year, and he's done a great job at Las Cruces. And I'll tell you, Coach back at La Cueva, they lost a lot. They lost a lot, man, but they found a way to grind it out against Centennial with that last-second field goal. And Centennial kicker had missed, and it's a game of inches, Coach. You know how those things go, man. And La Cueva comes down and kicks the game-winning field goal.
Yeah, I watched that game, actually, and it was a very competitive game. Obviously, it was, I think, 21-7 at halftime, Centennial. And La Cueva made some adjustments defensively, came out and shut out Centennial in the second half and was able to pull out that win. I think Centennial missed 3 short field goals in that game. And La Cueva executed their opportunity. And like you said, it comes down to little things sometimes in those championship games. Those special teams play a huge role. And you can see in that game as well, a defensive battle, and it came down to the kicking game, and La Cueva was able to execute, and Centennial wasn't.
One of my friends, he's the Lobo color analyst. He played for the Lobos years ago. He has coached in the pros, too. Receivers at Tennessee. He coached for a long time in the pros. But he always calls it hidden yardage with special teams. People forget about how important they are, and La Cueva was able to execute. And, you feel bad for the Centennial kicker. That your heart goes out to people, man, because he's a young man. He wants to win. And, and the La Cueva kicker made his field goal. And you can't ever blame any one person. We know that. But still, you feel bad for the kid that didn't make it, and you feel great for the kid that did.
Yeah, no, that's high school sports, man. It's not like those kids go out there and intentionally miss or the coaches don't practice it. It's just, sometimes you execute in those situations and sometimes you don't, man. And you do feel bad for that kid and tough way to go out. And so, yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be, like I said, I can feel how excited you are about that because you mentioned quarterfinalists in 21, 22, 23 and 24, 4 straight years. So the goal was, hey, let's get past it. And here we are. So I know how excited you're 41 and 30.
The most important part, that's where you build the most important part. That's where you build your culture. That's where you establish your discipline and your expectations. Because really, you don't want to be doing that stuff during the season. During the season, you want to be focusing on X's and O's, not, culture and discipline and all that stuff. You want to kind of establish that in the spring. So, yeah, it was a huge challenge for us. I'm grateful that I got the assistant coaches that I have. We couldn't have got through that stuff without them. And so, and since then we've played pretty well. Like I said, been in the quarterfinals, which for Hobbs, doing it 4 straight years is something they hadn't done in a long time either. And so this group wanted to be different and get past that. And we've accomplished that goal. Now it's time to set a new goal and like you said earlier, not, be happy, be proud of the accomplishment, but not yet fully satisfied. Let's set a new goal. And let's see if maybe we can be that first team since 1981 to play for a state title. But in order to do that, we got to beat a very, very good Cleveland team.
I bet the kids are very excited to come down and face that challenge. Coach, we're going to take a break, and when we come back, we'll talk more about this year's version of the 2025 Hobbs Eagles football team after these messages on the sports desk.
Nunez gonna fake the give, keep it himself. End zone in his mind. He's in for the Carlsbad touchdown. Marley Munoz.
Yana Gurule with it. Now sends it down the middle. Here's movement, top of the 18. A long shot. Goal! Goal for Albuquerque Academy. Albuquerque Academy on the counter.
Akers taking off, kicks it into space, foot race. Centers it, watch out, score! The Blue Griffins find a score.
Firstly, trying to get him on the hard count. Here's the pressure, has to dump it off on a screen to Castaneda. Explodes free. Castaneda down the sideline. Nobody's gonna catch him. Touchdown, Carlsbad, as they explode on third down again.
Then on the left side, tries to center it back. Nobody in blue was there. Ball goes off to Tushy. Shotgun goal! The equalizer! Aiden Nixon with his second.
Far side. Give and go. Here's a run. They cross it into the net, and it is a goal to win the championship.
On this side of the pond, it's 0-0. Fired over. Uh-oh. Bad header. Into space. Watch out. Hamill. Graves. It squeaks in. Martinez with the ball. Martinez kicks it back. Watch out. Overpowered. Stolen away. Here comes St. Pius looking for their second. Trying to make the move on the defender. Cuts it in. Oh! Ole fires it. Score! Ethan Wright abuses the defense.
Eagle Greens and Turf are a family-owned and operated business with over 25 years of experience in the home improvement industry. They are your exclusive dealer of celebrity green, synthetic putting greens, and artificial turf. They also have artificial turf that is specifically designed for your pets. Eagle Greens and Turf are proud sponsors of ProView Networks and can make your lawn green all year long at 505-273-2744. Granite Passion are proud supporters of ProView Sports. They're located at 1309 12th Street Northwest. They're your one-stop shop for granite, quartzite marble, quartz, and install. Most jobs are completed in a single day. Give them a call at 505-242-1007. That's 505-242-1007. Burrito Express is proud to announce that we are the official burrito spot of ProView Networks. Since 1982, with 6 locations serving Albuquerque, Rio Rancho, and Roswell, the question is, red or green? Let's go to the burrito. Visit letsgototheburrito.com and order now.
Hi folks, Marley Fletcher here, owner of Santa Fe Kia. You know, at Santa Fe Kia, we like the byline of Santa Fe Kia is where we treat you different. Some reasons why. I'm remodeling our facility to make it better for our customers. Our salespeople treat people with respect and the way they'd like to come and purchase a vehicle. That's why at Santa Fe Kia, it's where we treat you different.
Raising Cane's invites you to grab life by the chicken fingers. So get out there. Be you. Do you. Embrace whatever makes you, you. All while enjoying Raising Cane's hand-battered cooked-to-order chicken fingers, crispy crinkle-cut fries, buttery Texas toast, and that secret recipe cane sauce that makes everything that much better. So go on, savor the day.
Raising Cane's chicken fingers, one love.
Hi, my name is David Nieto. I'm the owner of Black & Silver Services. We are an HVAC contractor here in Albuquerque, and we're a proud supporter of ProView Networks. And we do sponsor a lot of kids here in Albuquerque locally, and we're hoping for a great season. And if you guys are interested for a free HVAC quote, you can call us.
Hi, my name is Arthur Apodaca, owner of Regulator Protective Services. We're in the business of protecting you, your family, and businesses. I proudly support youth sports of Albuquerque.
Hi, I'm Emmanuel Apodaca. Carolyn Apodaca gives it to Apodaca. He finds the lane.
Carroll hand off to Apodaca, touchdown.
Thank you, Dad, for supporting my football team. Go Cougars.
Back to the Sports Desk live on Comcast Channel 26, also streamed on our Facebook page. I'm your host, Ed Nunez. Our very special guest today has been Hobbs head football coach Ken Stevens. He's also the assistant athletic director in Hobbs. His Eagles will travel to Albuquerque actually Rio Rancho this Saturday afternoon to take on the second-ranked Cleveland Storm at 1 p.m. at Lightning Bolt Field. And Coach, been great catching up with you, man. Great getting to know you. Great getting to know you. And about your program, you're very proud of it, and you should be. You know, after what you told me at the build-up, the start, you know, you getting there in 19, and it wasn't easy because everybody went through COVID, and you know, you mentioned they started in June, no off season, canceled the next season. It was a challenge, and look where you're at now.
Yeah, and I think that's one of the things that we're proud of as a program. Because I think most coaches teach this, but just teaching young kids that, you know, it's about how you respond to adversity. Adversity is going to happen. There's things that are going to happen out of your control. Obviously, COVID was a big one, but, you know, how you're going to respond to those situations is really going to determine your future and the outcome. And so, you know, as a program, we feel like we've handled a lot of adversity, as other programs have, I'm sure. But, you know, we feel our kids have responded the right way, and we're very proud of that, and hope that that's a skill or a trait that they take with them as they move off into their adult life, with understanding that, you know, things are going to happen from time to time that are out of your control, and that adversity is going to hit. And hopefully through football and athletics, you learn how to handle those situations the right way and respond the right way, and you'll be able to get through those and be successful at whatever you do.
That's right. They translate to your personal and professional life. Believe me, they sure do. 28th season of coaching, 13th year as a head coach. I wanted to ask you a little bit about your offense and defense. And we mentioned you've got your quarterback, Junior Madrano. I mentioned him earlier. 101.1 quarterback rating. He means quite a lot to you. He's rushed also for 1,439 yards, 9.5 average. The Eagles as a team has rushed for 3,164 yards, 8.3 average. You're winning on first down. You have to win on first down, right? Second and makes it manageable on second down. Tell us a little bit about your offense besides Junior Madrano. Tell us a little bit.
You know, really, as you know, we mentioned earlier, it starts up front with our offensive line. Our offensive line has done a tremendous job all year. We're led by our left tackle, Max Garcia. He's the leader of that group, and they've done a good job of playing physical and handling what defenses have thrown at them all year. You know, Coach Jett, our offensive line coach, has done a great job with that group, and like I said, we feel that that's where it starts up front, and they've done a great job. They've done a great job this year as far as handling adversity. Fourth game of the year, we lost our starting left tackle, who was a 2-year starter, to a broken arm, and so we had to move the Garcia kid from right tackle to left tackle, and then move in a new kid. And so, you know, those guys have gelled since the fourth game of the year, and have done an outstanding job for us up front. And so, again, just very proud of that unit. We ran two backs. Seamus Wright was our featured back in the first game. He went for 200 against Lovington, got hurt towards the end of that game and didn't play again until the Centennial game. DeMarcus Hill, another junior running back, filled that role while he was out. And so we've kind of stumbled on to having two backs. And so, you know, both of those guys have split carries and done a real good job here throughout the end of the year. And then, you know, our receivers, again, we had some injuries there during the year. Probably like everybody else, I thought overcome that stuff. And so, you know, Braddock Beatty and Justice French are two guys that have big play capability for us there at receiver.
You mentioned Brian Beatty's 37 receptions, 539 yards, 14.6 average, and also Justice French, 41 catches, 460 yards, 11.2 yards per catch. And, you know, you mentioned the big guys up front. And you know what? They're key on Saturday. We mentioned that defensive front for the Storm, you know, they're physical. They're tough. So how your offensive line stands up to them is going to be very key.
I agree. That's going to be the challenge for us because you can see that our success has been being able to establish the run and be able to do those things. And so I think that's the challenge is they're very good on the defensive line, 45 defensive end, 22 is the other defensive end, and then the nose man. You know, those guys are big and physical. I think 22 is about 6'5", 215 or so. 45 is a tough kid. I think 45 was runner-up state champion, lost to the Posa kid last year in wrestling. So, you know, he's a tough kid because he wrestles. And then their linebackers, you know, 9 and 43, those guys come downhill and play very physical. So they're very tough in the box. And so that's going to be the challenge for us. Is can we establish that line of scrimmage? Can we run the football and understand that it's not going to be easy, that it's going to be a chore.
That's been the strength of your team is running the ball, and that's going to be key. You've done it. You've managed well on first down, and, you know, second and manageable is always, you don't want to be behind the sticks on second down. Tell us a little bit about your defense. You got 21 sacks. Some of your linebackers are really busy guys. I believe it was number 48, Aiden Glum, 92 tackles. Gavin McPherson, 107 tackles. And those guys are going to be key on Saturday against Cleveland. Tell us a little bit about your defense before we wrap this up.
Yeah, our defense, it starts with our guys up front. Really, it starts with our defensive tackles. Big Mike Meredith, he's 6'2", 6'3", about 320 pounds. And it starts, you know, with him up front. He's a big old guy that commands a lot of double teams. And then his running mate, number 60, Jeremiah Mackey. You know, he set the school record this year for sacks in the season. And so those two guys, we feel really set the tone for us up front. Then we got a defensive end, Cameron Wheeler, who's a good-sized kid, does a great job for us out there on the edge. And so that defensive front, like I said, really sets the tone for us. Linebacker-wise, again, we've overcome a lot this year that people probably don't know. The Bloom kid's been out for several weeks. He had an ACL tear, so he's done. We've had to plug and play different linebackers in there since that injury occurred. And so, again, just going back to overcoming adversity and having kids step up and fill roles. And so that's been an outstanding job by our defense. Our defensive coordinator, Jeff Willingham, no stranger to championships. He was Artesia's defensive coordinator under Cooper Henderson for a number of years. And so he's done a great job with our defense and rallying those troops. And then, in the secondary, Adrian Moore, number 4, he's an exceptional athlete that plays safety for us, plays a little receiver for us, returns kicks, returns punts. And, so like I said, the defense has grown steadily over the year and has done a great job of, like I said, overcoming injuries that have occurred. And so just couldn't be more proud of Coach Willingham and his defense.
Coach, it's going to take a team effort, a whole team effort on Saturday against the Storm here in Albuquerque. Once again, the Hobbs Eagles will face off against Cleveland at 1 p.m. at Lightning Bowl Stadium. Hobbs head football coach Ken Stevens, so glad to have you on the sports desk this morning. We wish you all the best of luck in Rio Rancho on Saturday.
Well, I appreciate that. I thank you so much for the opportunity to be on here and visit with you. It was great getting to know you, and I enjoyed it. And any Hobbs fans listening out there, come out to Rio Rancho on Saturday, get behind us, and it's going to be a good game between us two, and hopefully all the fans can enjoy 2 good ball teams and a good football game.
Should be a good one. For producer Alden Iwani, I'm Ed Nunez. We'll see you next week on the Sports Desk.